Mahnomen County Sheriff Doug Krier joining us here today on Gold 101.5 KRJM. Doug, you've been out of the area for a little bit, but
I was actually. I took a trip, visited my brother-in-law. He's retired from the Air Force, and spent a week down in Florida. Left here, it was 28 degrees. I get down to Florida, it's 81 and sunny, and spent
nice.
some time in the ocean. Couldn't figure out why the fish were jumping in front of me, and I was the only one in the ocean for as far as I could see, and my brother-in-law told me that it was bait fish for the sharks. So I was trying to figure out why the Minnesota boy was the only one in the water.
Well,
I found out.
At least you didn't turn into bait.
No, I didn't. I came back in one piece.
Well, you've got about 3 weeks worth of info for us.
I do. So we're going to start with the week of April 15th through the 21st. There was 127 calls for service and 39 reports generated. We had 8 arrests, and out of those, 6 were on warrants. 1 was aiding an offender, and 1 was violation of court order. There were 34 traffic stops done. 11 citations were issued. 3 for speed, 8 for other. There were 18 ambulance requests, 22 transports, 1 death, 2 fire, 1 drug-related, 1 vehicle unlock, 1 animal complaint, 5 disorderly conduct, 2 assault, 1 motor vehicle theft, 3 criminal damage to property, 3 theft reports, 2 welfare checks, 8 alarms, 2 violations of court order, 1 suspicious activity, 2 threat, 1 motor vehicle accident, and 4 miscellaneous assists. And how that checked out into the area, there were 4 in Bijou Township, 5 in Chief, 32 in the city of Mahnomen, 4 in the city of Waban, 1 in Clover, 2 in Island Lake, 1 in Lagarde, 1 in Lake Grove, 4 in Little Elbow, 5 in Marsh Creek, 21 in the village of Nadawash, 2 in Oakland Township, 15 out of jurisdiction, 13 in Pembina, 5 in Popple Grove, 3 at Riverland, 3 in Rosedale, and 6 in Twin Lakes. And as far as reports, on the 15th of April at 12:50 p.m., law enforcement had stopped a vehicle on County Road 3 just north of Highway 200 for not displaying a license plate. When the officer talked with the driver, Chelsea Thompson, 25, of rural Waban, she had a 21-day temp sticker in her back window, which expired in August of 2017. Thompson was she was also revoked. She was issued a citation for both violations. Also on the 15th at 2 p.m., law enforcement had stopped the vehicle on Highway 200 and College Road because of equipment violation. As the officer was talking with the driver, Haley Bowe, 18, of Twin Valley, he noticed an odor of what appeared to be marijuana. He also found a few pipes in the vehicle. Bowe, along with a passenger, Dylan Scheibel, 18, of Mahnomen, also admitted to have been smoking earlier. Both were issued citations and were released. Then on the 17th at 8:50 a.m., law enforcement had stopped at a Mahnomen residence and arrested a 14-year-old male for violating a court order. When officers met at the door by Starla Lovejoy, 19, of Mahnomen, she was told to officers that the 14-year-old male wasn't there. After looking in the residence, the 14-year-old was found in an upstairs room. As the officers were taking him out, Lovejoy grabbed one of the officers and told him they weren't taking her brother. Lovejoy was also arrested for obstruction and held for court. Then on the 18th at 7:06 p.m., law enforcement had stopped the vehicle on Highway 113 for expired tabs. When the officer talked with the driver, Raymond Aganash, 30, of Bagley, came back with a warrant out of Mahnomen County. The officer ran a check on the passenger, Leslie Keyser, 28, of Waban, who also had warrants out of Mahnomen County. Both were arrested and held for court. And then for the week of April 20th through the 28th, there were 113 calls for service, 29 reports were generated. There were 8 arrests, 5 on warrants, 1 disorderly conduct, 1 DWI, and 1 driving after revocation. There were 13 traffic stops, 6 citations were written, 3 for speed, 3 for others. There were 32 ambulance requests, 24 transports. There were 5 fires, 1 escape from custody, 1 harassment complaint, 4 threats, 2 drug-related, 2 burglary reports, 4 suspicious activity, 3 animal complaints, 4 assault reports, 4 disorderly conducts, 3 theft reports, 2 welfare checks, 2 vehicle unlocks, 1 alarm, 1 death, 1 motor vehicle accident, and 2 miscellaneous assists. And that broke down into the area that there were 3 in Bolio Township, 3 in Bijou, 4 in Chief, 29 in the city of Mahnomen, 5 in the city of Waban, 1 in Clover Township, 2 in Higher, 3 in Island Lake, 2 in Lagarde, 2 in Little Elbow, 4 in Marsh Creek, 15 in the village of Nadawash, 3 in Oakland, 8 out of jurisdiction, 21 in Pembina Township, 2 in Popple Grove, 1 at Riverland, 3 in Rosedale, and 2 in Twin Lakes. And for reports for that week, on the 22nd at 7:32 a.m., Sheriff's deputy had taken a burglary report from a Marsh Creek residence. Sometime during the night, someone had broken into the house. The suspect had gained entry by breaking the front door. Once inside, the suspects had gone through the house and had taken the following items: a Schumacher DY 1420 battery charger, a DeWalt Sawzall, and a steel chainsaw, and that's under investigation. On the 23rd, at 2:23 a.m., courts issued an escape from custody warrant on Alex Blue for failure to appear for sentencing on his first-degree burglary. Also on the 23rd at 10:42 p.m., Sheriff's Office received a call about a driving complaint on a gold-colored van. A deputy had noticed the van while he was patrolling in Nadawash. When the deputy attempted to stop the van, the driver took off. The van was later located at a residence in Nadawash. When the deputy talked with the driver, Troy Brown, 24, of Nadawash, Brown admitted to driving the van. There was an issue of ownership with Brown and his girlfriend. When the deputy searched the van, he found what appeared to be narcotics in a small baggies. Brown was arrested and held for court. Other charges are pending with the county attorney's office. Then on the 27th at 12:39 a.m., State Patrol made a traffic stop on Highway 59 just north of Mahnomen on a vehicle for driving conduct. The driver, Heidi Jackson, 27, of Mahnomen, had an outstanding warrant out of Mahnomen County. When the officers searched the vehicle, they found what appeared to be narcotics. Jackson was held on the warrants. Other charges were pending with the county attorney's office. Also on the 27th at 11:45 p.m., law enforcement made a traffic stop near the casino. As they were walking up or talking with the driver, he noticed McKay Brown, 19, of Nadawash, sitting in the back seat, who he knew had warrants out of Mahnomen County. After verifying the warrants, Brown was arrested and held for court. Then on the 28th at 11:07 p.m., law enforcement made a traffic stop in the city of Mahnomen on a vehicle because of driving conduct. As they were talking with the driver, Ryan Heinen, 38, of Mahnomen, he noticed an odor of an alcoholic beverage. After conducting field sobriety, Heinen was arrested for DWI and held for court. And then for last week, which is the week of April 29th through May 5th, there were 132 calls for service. Out of those, 38 reports were generated. There were 7 arrests, 4 on warrants, 1 disorderly conduct, and 2 for domestic assault. There were 7 traffic stops, 1 citation written, and that was for something other than speed. There were 27 ambulance requests, 25 transports, 2 court order violations, 1 death, 5 fires, 1 vehicle unlock, 1 fraud, 1 harassment complaint, 1 hazmat incident, 1 lost or found item, 1 overdose, 7 alarms, 2 burglaries, 3 assaults, 6 disorderly conducts, 6 theft reports, 4 welfare checks, 2 criminal damage to property, 3 suspicious activity, 2 animal complaints, 2 drug-related, 2 motor vehicle accidents, and 4 miscellaneous assists. How that broke down in the area, there was 1 in Bolio Township, 1 in Bijou, 1 in Chief, 48 in the city of Mahnomen, 1 in the city of Waban, 2 in Clover Township, 5 in Island Lake, 5 in Lagarde, 4 in Lake Grove, 5 in Little Elbow, 5 in Marsh Creek, 8 in the village of Nadawash, 10 out of jurisdiction, 22 in Pembina Township, 5 in Popple Grove, 3 in Riverland, 3 in Rosedale, and 3 in Twin Lakes. And as far as reports, on the 29th at 9:59 p.m., Sheriff's Deputy assisted Polk County Sheriff's Office in arresting Levi Coyer, 29, of rural Foston, in connection with an arson that they had. Coyer was believed to have been staying at a residence in Mahnomen County. When the deputy arrived at the residence, he was let in by the homeowner. Coyer was found in a bedroom sleeping. He was arrested and turned over to the Polk County Sheriff's Office. On the 1st of May at 6 p.m., a sheriff's deputy had taken a report of a missing handgun. The reporting person told the deputy that they were looking at some fields and some pastures along Highway 59 about 3 miles north of Mahnomen and gotten out of the vehicle on the 29th. This incident happened on the 29th, but it was reported on the 1st. The gun is a Springfield XDS 9mm handgun, black with 9mm stock sights. Anyone with any information or has located the weapon is asked to call the sheriff's office. Then on the 5th at 7:34 p.m., law enforcement had taken a burglary report from a Mahnomen residence. When the officer arrived, they checked out the apartment. No one was inside. The owner said they had been gone for a couple of days. When they came home, they found the door kicked in. There were a few items that were taken, and that's under investigation. On the 5th at 10:52 p.m., Sheriff's deputy had taken a theft report from a Nadawash resident. The reporting person told the deputy that there was a female that had been staying with them when she left. She left with a duffel bag containing clothes and pictures, and that is under investigation. And that's all we have for the last couple of weeks.
Well, a big weekend coming up this weekend, Mother's Day, and the fishing opener, and all kinds of fun.
It is. First of all, I'd like to wish an early happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I hope you all have a fantastic day. And then, like you said, it's also the fishing opener. There's going to be a lot of people fishing. I know a lot of moms fish too. One of the things that you have to remember, I know the ice should be off the lakes pretty much in our area, but when you're out in the boat, remember to take your life jackets and have it on. The water temperature is still cold. You could still get hypothermia if you happen to fall in. Remember just to wear your life jackets, and if you do go in, you need to change clothes right away and get out of the wet clothes. Like I said, the water temperature is still cold. So just want everybody to have a safe and happy opener as well as a Mother's Day. Also, one thing that I want to bring up, and I've heard from a few people, they've called and they've received phone calls from the IRS saying that they owe money and that they need to pay them. And what they'll do is they'll have you send the money to a prepaid credit card, and or they'll send it to an address not in Washington, D.C. It's usually with some other person. But just remember one thing, the IRS does not make phone calls. They don't call you up to say that you owe money. If you get a phone call from them, hang up right away. You can give my office a call. I like to know about those things so I can let other people know so that they don't get taken in because they will take you for whatever they can, and they won't even think twice about it. So, again, if you do receive a phone call from the IRS, they mail letters. They don't make phone calls.
All right.
That's about it.
All right. Well, Doug, as always, appreciate the time, and we'll talk again.
We will.
Mahnomen County Sheriff Doug Krier this week on Gold 101.5.